How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And I want to give my thoughts on The Penguin, the new HBO series that's a spin-off from The Batman. And right off the bat, I have to say, absolutely loved it. It was amazing. One of the best shows I've seen all year. It's hard to say if it's my favorite because there's a lot of really good shows this year. Like we had X-Men 97 and Fallout and Shogun. And Arcane Season 2 just came out. It's already incredible. I guess I will do a video about it. But yeah, The Penguin is definitely up there for me. It was fantastic. There will be spoilers in this video, so just be warned. If you somehow haven't seen it yet, then don't watch this. Or come back after you've seen it. So that out of the way. Yeah, man, this is how you do a spin-off. Like, when they first announced this show, I wasn't sure what to think. I was like, alright. I mean, I love The Batman. It's one of the best superhero movies ever made, and the best Batman film in live action, easily. But I wasn't really sure what they could do with the Penguin show. And it's because I've never been that big of a fan of the Penguin. Like he's a fun character, but I've never seen him like as all that deep. This show completely changed that. They completely, I don't want to say humanized, but they really deepen Oswald's character. You know, we see his past, like when he grew up, what his relationship with his mother's like, what his goals are, what his ambitions are. Like, it's all so good and so well interesting. And it's not like those Sony villain movies where they just turn him into a hero. The Penguin is a villain. Multiple times in the show, they remind you, this is not a good person. Right up to the very last episode. They always remind you. Even though he has moments of vulnerability, and you can sympathize with them at times, he is still a villain at the end of the day. And man, Colin Farrell just incredible in this, man. This might be his best performance, and it's easily going down as one of the best villain performances ever. Like, he was a fun addition to Batman, but here, with him in the lead, like, it's incredible, man. One of the best castings ever. Like, now I understand why they're like, okay, now let's give him his own show. And not only is he amazing, but so was Christian Miniati, I think that's how you say it, as Sophia Falcone. Oh my god, she's the second lead of this show, and she's amazing. When they first introduce her, you kind of think, oh, she's just a crazy chick. But then, like, they go in depth with her, and they even give her her own episode explaining her backstory that Penguin's barely in. And the last time I can think that a superhero show did that was Daredevil, where they had an entire episode in Season 1 devoted to the Kingpin's origin story. In Season 3, they also had something similar. And yeah, so I'm kind of associating the Penguin with Daredevil, like, in that terms of quality, because you guys know me, you know Daredevil is my favorite show of all time. And, like, it's nice to see another comic book show, or just show in general, that kind of recaptures what I love so much about Daredevil. Like, you know, it's the writing, it's the acting, it's the cinematography, it's the general filmmaking. Like, there's this one shot where the character Victor, he's in a car and he gets out and he goes to go look at something, and the camera, it's inside the car, like in the seat next to him, and then the guy holding the camera gets out, and then we just follow him like Victor as it goes out. Like, it's a one shot for that, and it's amazing. Like, I love when they do stuff like that. Like, the filmmaking here is top notch. Even though it's not Greg Fraser doing the cinematography who did it in The Batman, like, it has kind of his own spin to it, but it still very much feels like Matt Reeves' Gotham, and it's fantastic. If you're wondering, no, Batman does not appear in this show. He gets referenced at the very beginning and at the very end. That's it. And I know some people might have a problem with this, with kind of what happens in it. Personally, I didn't, because this is not Batman's story. It's Penguin's and Sophia's and Victor's. It's their story. Like, we're only following their perspectives throughout this. We're not following Bruce Wayne. We will see him again in the Batman Part 2, and absolutely can't wait for that. But for this, it wasn't his story, so I was okay with him not being in it. You do get some cameos from the Batman, like you see the mayor a couple times. You see the police chief in a couple scenes, so like this is still very much the same world, just following different perspectives. Another thing I really appreciate is just how much more alive Gotham feels in this. Because Gotham was already amazing in the Batman, but here, since we have 8-hour-long episodes, we really get to see more of this city, more of the corruption, more of how people react after what the Riddler did, Like, and like the world building is just so good. It feels like a real city. Another thing I'll say, don't go into this expecting an action show, because it's really not. It's a crime drama first and foremost, with, I don't want to say bursts of action, it's more like bursts of violence that happen, Someone getting shot or stabbed, something. It's just something really quick. There's not a whole lot of like fight scenes. Like, the best you'll get is a couple shootouts. And yeah, this is TVMA, so they are showing a lot of blood. There's one part where someone gets shot in the neck, and then like it feels real, man. Like he's like slowly dying as he's bleeding out, and it's like it makes you feel kind of like icky because of how real it looked. The overall plot of the show basically is it's about Penguin's rise to power, and it starts with him killing the son of Carmine Falcone. I forget his name. That's like right at the beginning, after learning about this new drug he has coming that's going to revolutionize the drug business. So he kills him. Then he enters Sophia, and Sophia immediately suspects it's him right away. She's like, oh, he went to your club. You're the last person to see him. Where's my brother? So it's this game of cat and mouse. Him trying to avoid her finding out, and her getting closer to onto the finding out it's him. He manages to avoid it long enough to get this drug they call Bliss set up. And some people mention online the chemical stuff. It may have something to do with Poison Ivy, which is cool. So maybe we'll see her in the future of this universe. Yeah, so they get the drug set up. Then she finds out it was Oswald that killed her brother. And then it goes back to that cat and mouse game, where now Oswald trying to set up his business and take care of Sophia. And then, yeah, by the end, because I'm going to talk about the ending now, he does win by the end, which, makes sense. It's his show. The way it happens, though, is real interesting, because he wins, but he also loses at the same time, because Sophia bombs his operation, so that's all gone. So then he pins it on Salvatore Maroni, who's played by Clancy Brown. So he pins it on him, because the evidence is right there. When the police go searching through the rubble, they'll find his body. So so there's a bit of truth to his lying, which I like that. Vic comes up with a plan with this guy called Link, who's like the number 2 of the Triad gang, and basically their plan is to make Sophia think that they captured Oz, and then turn the tables. They killed the leader of the Triad, kill all Sophia's men. Penguin takes her for a drive, just like the old days, because he used to be her driver. And she kind of asks him, it's like, hey, how'd you get him to turn? And I was like, it's the usual story, I promised him to make a name for himself, pretty much, to be noticed. He's tired of being forgotten. So he takes her to the edge of the city. You think he's just going to shoot her and be done with it? He tells her that she's going to hell and to turn around. She says she'll save a seat for him, which is a really cool line. I like that. So she turns around, she closes her eyes. She accepts that she's going to get shot. But it holds on her face for a while. And then a light comes down. She opens up. She looks around. Oz is gone. The police are coming and they arrest her. So Oz kind of pins everything on her. She's the villain of this whole thing. So she gets sent back to Arkham. She gets a letter from Selina Kyle, which is something I really like. I like that we're acknowledging the fact that her and Catwoman are half-sisters. So we'll likely see them probably partner up in the Batman Part 2. Or maybe a Catwoman spinoff that's been talked about. We'll see. And it's only a matter of time. Because they said they're open to doing more of these Batman spinoffs. And if they're this good, then I'm down. Oz goes back to the hospital where his mom is because she had a stroke a bit earlier. It's like, hey, Mom, look, I did it all for you. But now she's in a vegetative state. After, because she's very old. And she had a stroke and stuff. And this scene almost got me. Like I was fighting back tears. When he's like sitting next to her bed crying, like begging for her to acknowledge him, to say she loves him, she's proud of him. He's like, I did it all for you, Ma, I did it all for you. But he doesn't get that. And then we go to him and Vic, and their relationship throughout the whole show has been so good. Like, probably my favorite scene is in the diner or like restaurant where they're ordering and then Vic starts stuttering because he has a stutter. So the waiter finishes the order for him, and then Oswald speaks up for him and is like, hey, let him finish. Let him take as long as he needs to finish his order, And then after that, they have a conversation about Victor's father and what his dreams were. And Oz he sits there and he looks like he's genuinely listening to him. And then they have a toast to his father and stuff. And just, it's an amazing scene. I absolutely love this scene. But going back to the last episode, so they're talking, and then Vic's like, you're like family to me, thanks for taking a chance on me. And Oscar's talking about, it's like, I can't bring you with me now. Because the thing about family is, it's a strength and a weakness. And then he grabs Vic by the throat, and he starts choking him. And then Vic's like pleading for him to stop, and again, it's heavy, man. He chokes him, he kills him. He takes his wallet, he takes the cash out of his wallet to make it, I guess, look like a mugging. And he takes his ID and he throws it into the river. So now it's just a nobody's body. We cut to a little bit more time later. Oz, he has a new car. He's in a dress coat. You see, he's holding his top hat. He doesn't have his monocle yet, but he's out of his top hat. Goes up to the penthouse like he promised his mom. She has the view of the whole city. She's kind of around the side of the room. Then he goes to his girlfriend who's dressed up like his mom, and she's telling him that she's proud of him and that kind of stuff. And it's really messed up, but also in character from, because throughout the whole show they say like how obsessive with his mother he is. And then Penguin's last line is like, or I don't know if it's his line or if it's his girlfriend's line, but like, now nothing stands in your way. And the camera pans out to the city, and then you see the bat signal, and that's where we end. I mean, there is one thing still in his way. And we know Penguin's going to be in the Batman Part 2. Colin Farrell confirmed that he has like 6 scenes or something like that, which will be cool. But yeah, that's the Penguin. I absolutely loved it. Masterpiece. One of my favorite shows now. What'd you think of the show? Let me know. Be sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. See ya.